Welcome to One Guy, One Course, One Disc. I'm your guy Josh. Today we're here at Indian Creek Park in Madison, Georgia. And today's disc is going to be the Innova Wraith. Hole 1 here at Indian Creek Park is a 242-foot par 3 that goes downhill 46 feet. It is a straight shot, so you're going to disc down and throw something that's not going to fade out a lot because you do want to stay out of the rough on this hole. And once you finish this hole, you keep going down the hill and you'll find tee pad 2 a little off to your left. We begin the flat portion of this course with hole 2, which is a 270-foot par 3. It is a straight shot that finishes left to right. It's 157 feet to this gap right here, and then it turns to the basket, which is another 113 feet. Once you finish this hole, go to your right and you'll find tee pad for hole 3. Hole 3 is a short par 3 measuring 215 feet. Even though the basket is straight ahead of you, you're going to have to throw a hyzer shot or a flex line to get to the basket. Once you tap out, you'll find hole 4 back and to the left. Hole 4 is a par 3 that measures straight at 275 feet, but the widest gap is this gap here to the right, which is going to be a hyzer shot all the way, probably taking you more to about 300 feet. But once you get past all these trees and you tap in, hole 5 is going to be to the left. Hole 5 is another short par 3 measuring at 218 feet. And while there is a straight gap, it's not going to be the easiest one. So a hyzer line or a flex line around the trees will give you the best chances to get it close for a birdie. And once you finish the hole, you'll find hole 6 off to the left. Hole 6 is a 300-foot par 3, giving you the option to go left or right off the tee pad. Either option should be able to get you there if you have the distance. If you don't, there are good landing spots all around and open lines to the basket for an easy up and down par. Once you do finish this hole, you'll find hole 7 to your right. Hole 7 is the shortest hole at 155 feet. It's a par 3. The straight gap is enticing, but the left gap will be a lot easier to get it close for a birdie. But once you do finish, hole 8 is back and to the left. Hole 8 is a 293-foot par 3. Left, straight, or right, the choice is up to you. But you're going to have to get around a lot of trees no matter which way you go. Once you get through this gap here, though, you'll open up to the basket, giving you an easy up and down for par. And once you finish the hole, hole 9 will be off to the left. Hole 9 is a 255-foot par 3 that goes uphill 45 feet. It's going to be 175 feet to get to this pine tree that's right in front of you. And then it's going to turn just a little bit to the right, and it's another 80 feet to the basket from there. Once you finish off this hole, you're going to find hole 10 off to the left past tee pad number 1. Hole 10 is a 265-foot par 3 that goes downhill 15 feet. It is a straight shot with a right to left finish. You're going to want to be careful coming into this green because if you skip too much past the basket, you're going to end up going back down the hill even further, making your approach shot a little more difficult. But once you finish this hole, hole 11 is down the hill and to the right. Hole 11 is a par 3, 182 feet, but don't let the distance fool you. It is a tough shot to get through these trees. But if you can manage to lace a straight shot through the trees close to the basket, you should be able to get an easy birdie. And once you finish the hole, hole 12 will be right in front of you. Hole 12 is by far the hardest hole on the course. It is par 4, measuring at 342 feet. It goes uphill 45 feet. It's going to be 174 feet to get to this pine tree that's in the middle of the fairway. But if you can manage to get your first shot up and around this tree just a bit, it's another 168 feet to the basket. Should be fairly open, so hopefully you have an easy approach shot. And then once you finish off this hole, you'll find hole 13 off to the right. Hole 13 is a 200-foot par 3, which goes downhill 50 feet. You want to keep it low because it drops off quickly. And you also want to keep it straight because if you hyzer out, this rough can be pretty bad to work with. But hopefully you can get it down the hill with a nice easy shot, and hole 14 will be off to your left once you finish. Hole 14 is 262 feet that goes back up the hill. It's a par 3, goes uphill 52 feet. Once again, you're going to want to throw a straight shot. Definitely want to disc up for this one to get it up this hill. But once you get up the hill and finish out the hole, you'll find hole 15 off to the left. Go down the path a bit, and then it'll be on the right. Hole 15 is a 240-foot par 3 that bends to the right. It's 170 feet to get to the bend, and there's another 70 feet to a basket that's on top of a mound. Be careful on this hole because you can easily find yourself getting the birdogey. Once you finish, though, you'll find hole 16 straight ahead. Hole 16 is a par 3 coming in at 285 feet. You're going to want to throw something straight that's going to begin to go right about here. And then once you go over the bushes just a little bit, you want it to come back to the left and crash in right next to the basket. And once you finish this hole, you'll find hole 17 straight ahead of you that crosses the path. Hole 17 is a par 3, 255 feet, goes downhill 26 feet. You're going to want to throw something straight that will get through all these trees, and hopefully it won't fade too much and you'll end up close to the basket. And once you finish out this hole, you'll find 18 back and to the left. The final hole on this course is a 284-foot par 4 that goes back up the hill 40 feet to the parking lot. It's mostly a straight shot. Ideally, you want to get your first shot right about here, which gives you an easy shot to the basket that finishes right to left. If you do so, you should hopefully get an easy birdie. If not, a much easier par. Well, that sucks. What a save. Not give that enough. Indian Creek Park got a total score of 6.2. Some of the main factors for the low score are the rough, the navigation, and the terrain. It's a very hilly course. There are some holes you got to be careful of. The rough during the late spring, summer, and early fall can be very horrendous. A lot of the times it looks like I got in a fight with a cat after I get out of it, so I would definitely wear long pants even during the summer just to protect your legs. And then the navigation, there are some holes that it's very hard to know where the next hole is if you don't have U-disc. So these are the main factors for the lower score, but I would definitely recommend coming out to it. It's going to test your lines, it's going to test your consistency. So it's a good course to come out and practice. You're probably not going to come here a lot just because it is hilly. It wears you out very quickly. But at the end of the day, it's a good course to come try out. Give it a go, see if you like it. As far as the Innova Wraith goes, this is a overstable disc, so it's going to want to fight out of any anhyzer you put on it, but for an overstable disc, it does hold anhyzer pretty well. So I would recommend putting it in your bag. I'd probably recommend a DX plastic or a Pro plastic, as it will probably bead in a little bit better for you when you're first getting started. But it's definitely one I would recommend. Give it a try, and hopefully in the long run it'll treat you well. Until next time, on to the next course.